So, say, so this is for the people that enjoy playing Equinox, but also get irritated of swapping forms. I don't have this issue because I remember to switch form, but not everyone will, and it gets fucking annoying. Also, I don't mind running energy transfer, but not everyone wants to waste a mod slot to maintain the buff while swapping forms. They just want to stick one form and one form only. So, let's, for example, say you load into a mission, you're like, I'm gonna nuke some enemies. You click this, and you're like, wait. No slash ticks. What the fuck? Well, there's a reason for that. Instead of doing this, and then there you go. You have slash ticks. If you really don't like using this fucking button at all, like you fucking hate using this button right here, you fucking hate using this button, do you know what you can do instead? Change your emissive, and then you can just dump your fucking one. See? Look at that. Immediately they take the slash tick. That is because I'm running dayform emissive. So you see that little Equinox symbol right at the bottom there? See how it's see-through? That means it's day form. Night form. Night form. How this works is basically similar to Chroma's element to Ward, where depending on your emissive, like orange or red for fire, white or black for ice, blue or purple for electric, but careful because some blues end up making ice instead of electric, or green for toxin. How Equinox works is depending on your emissive will determine which form you start the mission with. So for example, say, I don't know, you have a bright ass fuck emissive. You'll start the mission with a day form Equinox, so the damage form Equinox. But if your emissive is too dark, you will start the mission with a night form. So if you don't want to use energy transfer, which is all the way up here linked, energy transfer. Say you don't want to use energy transfer, and you just want to like start the mission and immediately get the nuking. Like the second the mission starts, you're already in nuke form and you can just fucking release havoc. Run a light emissive color. Now say you're the opposite, and you're like, I want to be a support Equinox, but every single time I start the mission, I have to constantly click my one and switch forms. And I want to run a subsume on my Equinox, but I don't want to get rid of my free. I don't want to get rid of my 4, which you should never get rid of the 4 on Equinox anyway. But just for like this example, like say you're like, I don't want to get rid of anything that is useful on my Equinox. I like the sleep ability for my 2. I like the free. But I really want to abuse the heals of 4, and I want to abuse a subsume at the same time. But because of this transfer thing where I have to switch forms in order to abuse my heal, I have to say fuck my 2. Well, here's an issue. Here's a problem solver to that. If you enjoy just heal form, run a dark emissive. So the second you start the mission, you're already in heal form. Off you fucking go. There you go. You can heal the team. You don't have to constantly use your 1 and remove your sleep ability from your 2. And then if you say you're a nuke Equinox, right? And you're like, see, I want to be a nuke Equinox, and I want to stay in nuke form. Like, the start of the mission, I already have my nuke ready, and I can just go nuts building it up. But I also want to keep the damage vulnerability from her too, because at some point I would like a damage vulnerability, so if I'm fighting something that's very, very tanky, I can just make it vulnerable to damage and then kill it with my weapons. Run bright emissive. That way you do not need to flip-flop between forms. You don't need to, like, use the 1 to change versions. At all. Also, a fun fact about Elemental Ward, it is great on Frost, because what happens is enemies will end up shooting him, which then those enemies will end up giving you Overguard. Well, not giving you Overguard. They'll give you armor because of Frost passive, where Frost gains more armor, the more enemies are frozen. The more enemies are frozen, the more armor Frost gets, which then feeds into Frost 4 augment, where before you even cast the ability, your overguard scales off of your armor value, your power strength, and how much enemies are hit. That's how much overguard you get. But it mostly scales off your armor value and your power strength. So what happens is Elemental Ward, when enemies shoot you, they freeze themselves, which then triggers your passive. You get more armor. So then what that does is that gives you more overguard. This armor buff also carries over to his bubble, because his bubble scales off your armor value and also your power strength value. So Elemental Ward feeds into that. And also, you don't need to click your 4 as often, because enemies will passively just freeze themselves just by shooting you, because of Elemental Ward. Which is nice. Because of Ice Ward. But to do Ice Ward, you need to run an Ice emissive on your Frost. Alright, moving on to another thing. Say you're Equinox, say you're Octavian, you're like, man, I want enemies to die even faster to my mount than they already fucking do anyway. Run this. What will happen is, with this, after you cast Rage on an enemy, that fucker will fucking run down to the mallet like he's Sonic the Hedgehog, while also taking way more fucking damage because of damage vulnerability. But on top of that, he will also attack faster, so he's doing more DPS to the mallet. But then when Tonto Bear dies, he's going to spread that damage vulnerability to fucking anything in the radius, and then refresh the duration. And then those fuckers are gonna run in like they just heard of someone giving away iPhones for free or some shit. Like, I don't fucking know. Just pulled something random out of my ass. But you get what I mean. So, Tonto's buddies are now buffed by the debuff here. And when they get buffed by the debuff, they're now gonna run like their asses on fire, like they're fucking Mario fighting Bowser, to the mallet. And then they're gonna shoot the mallet, which is then gonna make the mallet do more damage, which is then gonna release to them. They're gonna kill themselves from shooting the mallet. And then after they shoot the mallet and they die, that's gonna spread. And then more enemies are gonna run in faster and then shoot the mallet more, and then the mallet's gonna do more damage back, and then the cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. But you need to have a bright emissive color, because if you do not, enemies will fucking sleep. And you do not want enemies to sleep, because then that's on DPS to the mallet, obviously. So, if you want your mallet to hit even harder than it already does, run Common Frenzy, because it's a spreading effect where it spreads damage vulnerability to enemies, and enemies move faster, and then they shoot the mallet more, and then it's more DPS, and the mallet just hits them harder. But you need a emissive color for that. So if your emissive is bright, cool, it will work. If your emissive is not, well, you're shit out of luck. The enemies are gonna sleep instead. It's really good if you can sacrifice mod slot for it, and if you're comfortable with messing with your emissive to be bright, it's really good because it makes your mallet hit way fucking harder than it already does. But do keep in mind you need to mess with your emissive, and you need to mess with a mod slot for this. Another thing, if you want hunting animals in the open world to be fucking piss easy, especially with helping your friends and that, subsume rest onto Ivara. Not only do you get the invisibility from prowls, so the entire time of the hunt you're permanently invisible as long as you have energy. Not only do you have a invis arrow, so if you're helping a new player, you can just shoot them with the invis arrow, and now they're invisible, so they can't scare off the animal or prevent you from getting a perfect capture. But also, you do not need to worry about aiming or relying on a trank dart at all for the animal, because Equinox's Rest is a point-click simulator, which I'll quickly show you that right now. So say you're hunting a flying animal, right? Say you're hunting a flying animal? Well, this solves that problem. You just point, click, done. Animal's asleep. Without even an issue. Here, we'll go to Deimos, because I know everyone fucking hates the flying animals in Deimos. This works for big animals, too. So all you have to do is just look at the animal. And then click the button and they go sleep. You're wondering how the hell my Ivara is moving so fast. I have a Mars Hate shard on my Ivara, and I have some agility shards, so my Ivara moves extremely quickly. My Ivara is used for spy and is also used for hunting. But yeah, I'll show you this quickly and then I'll end the video here, but this is a great example of remembering that sometimes subsumes don't always have to be about damage, but sometimes they can be utility subsumes.
Something was here not long ago.
Quality of life subsumes.
Yes, this is promising. Please
Also
pursue.
teaches you that sometimes even your emissive color, even your frame's looks determine effectiveness in a mission. Like, if your emissive color is too bright, you get damage vulnerability. Your emissive color is too dark, enemy sleep. You have a too orange emissive, you will get fire ward, yada yada. You get the point by now. I'm just trying to spawn in a fucking animal.
You won't mistake it when you see it. They look like something from another geological era. Bravo! That was terrible. We are not at home to stage fright. Let's do it again and sustain.
Okay, you see them?
This time.
Look at that.
Cautious. An avocator's curiosity can be piqued with a call.
And there you go. See? All you have to do is just see the animal. And they go to sleep.
But we can never tame it. Such winged, bluey beauty belongs to the wild. Forever.
But yeah, there you go. So if you hate animal hunting and you want it to be easier, use Equinox's subsume. All you have to do is just point, click, done. Alright, I'll leave it here. And good luck out there with animal hunting and ranking up the syndicates and everything.